but it is not opening. So I am connected through mobile now. Now this is the paper where there will be examination at university level. And the total marks will be 50 marks. For this course also, there is the same pattern where there are 5 units, and all these units are loaded with theory. So let's understand the meaning of this course title. International. International is nothing but where there are economies between two countries, or maybe more than two countries, but minimum two countries are involved. That is the meaning of international. And business, maybe corporate, enterprise. That is the meaning of business. Economics. Economics is nothing but where the resources are limited, and with these limited resources, organization supposed to manage, supposed to achieve their objectives. So resources are scarce. What do you mean by scarce?
Little.
Yes, there is a rare, a limited, scarce, little. And with these available resources, one will have to achieve their objective. That is the meaning of economic. So the course title, International Business Economic. This way we can understand. Now let us start with the unit number 1. The title of unit number 1 is International Trade. And by the time I am also trying to open through this laptop, but we will not waste our time. Unit number 1, the title itself is International Trade. And in this international trade, there are trade theories. And these theories developed by different personalities. Personality like Ricardo, then Adam Smith, Heckler, and Oholin. So basically, and Krugman's model. So these 3-4 persons theory, which is included, mentioned by Savitribai Phule Pune University. Now, in regards to this trade theory, Ricardo and comparative advantage. Now, what is comparative advantage? Comparative advantage, it refers to ability to produce goods or services, that too with lower opportunity cost. So lower opportunity cost compared to competition. Now, for example, IT outsourcing. IT outsourcing, maybe we can consider example as a comparative advantage. Now, if you observe in India, we have many IT firms which are launched by different countries. Country like say USA, and there are some countries from European group also. They have started IT unit in India. What is the reason behind that? The reason is available manpower. In India, we have sufficient manpower available, and that too skilled manpower we have. Software engineers, along with the software engineer, India also have, I will not say that entire infrastructure, but whatever required infrastructure, our Indian government is providing. So with these two reasons, different countries have started their IT unit in India. Now, in regards to the, as I told you, the theory which is developed by this international trade, Adam Smith, he describes trade taking place as a result of countries having absolute advantage. Now, just now I told you comparative advantage, and now I am telling you absolute advantage. Now, what do you mean by absolute advantage? Absolute advantage, it is the ability of an individual person or a company to produce a greater quantity of goods or services. So they are targeting production at a large volume. Now basically this international trade theory, it is a subfield of economics which analyze the pattern of international trade, its origin, and its welfare implications. International trade right from 18th century, this has been controversial. Not today, even today also, there are some controversy in respect to international trade. So when this theory was developed first time in 18th century, developed by this Adam Smith, who wrote a book, Wealth of Nation. So that was the book, a very popular and famous, written by Adam Smith. What is the title of book? Wealth of Nations. Am I reaching you? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
So, Wealth of Nation. Now, this book particularly wrote by Adam Smith. He discusses various benefits from this trade. Trade means international trade, which provides literary model for absolute advantage based upon the example of uh, he quoted one example of a country, Scotland. Scotland is the country where uh, grapes are being grown. So Scotland has very conducive environment where grapes are being. This is the major crop in Scotland, and with this grape, they extract the juice, and from that juice, wine is being prepared. So European countries they are fond of wine. Yeah, here we take a very negative way wine meaning, but in European countries it is being considered as a medicine. Wine, if you are aware, European countries they consider wine as a medicine. So he quoted this example. Who? Adam Smith in his book Wealth of Nation. He makes the argument that while it is possible to grow grapes and produce wine in Scotland, the investment in the factor of production. Now, what do you mean by factor of production? Anyone? What is factor of production?
Land, labor, capital, and machine.
Yes, land. First factor, there are four factors: land, capital,
Land,
labor,
labor,
and capital.
and machine. Hmm.
Land,
Now,
labor capital, entrepreneurship.
correct, entrepreneurship. Very good.
Yes, sir.
So these are the four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Now, land, as everyone knows, land, which is the limited resources we have, and this resource, which is a nature gift. We don't manufacture land. Land, it is given by nature. So we can say it is a very precious gift which we have received from nature. This particular land, and then another factor, labor. Now, labor in terms of India, we have a huge population, but compared to India, China is another country where there is a huge population. We are ranking at second position. China is ranking at a first position. So China is having huge amount of labor as a factor available. We also have, so that is also added advantage to India. But this population should be trained so that they can contribute to the economy. And that is why in India we have skill based education. We have also started skill based activities so that youth like you who have been studying in different streams, maybe management, technical, commerce, so that generation should able to contribute to the economy. So that kind of education we have been providing to this upcoming youth. So this factor of production, second, this way we can discuss capital, sorry, labor. Third one is capital. Now even capital, though there are some restrictions and but still we are overcoming from that point also. Talking to India, nowadays we do not have major problem to raise capital because there are various ways and means. through that we can raise the capital, like say money market, capital market. Through this market, easily we can raise the required fund. Now, in regards to this capital factor of production, and as I mentioned, there are two markets available. Money market. What kind of requirement money market caters? Anyone? What kind of requirements money market cater? Long term or short term?
Short term.
Yes. So short term requirement which is catered by money market, and we have very great chain available in India, and this chain is controlled by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. And in case if company requires long term fund, these long term funds are being provided by capital market, and capital market which is regulated and controlled by SEBI. So over a period of time, RBI and SEBI, they have been developing proper mechanism for this particular market. Still, I will not say that it is 100% error free. Some errors are there, but still we are working upon those errors. And SEBI, RBI, they are trying to curb that particular lacuna. So the third factor of production about capital we discussed. Now fourth one is entrepreneurship. Make note one thing, that you might be having sufficient capital with you. You might be having sufficient labor with you. You are having enough land for your business. But if there are no entrepreneurial skill, can we use this factor without having entrepreneurial skill? Can we use? Can we use these resources? So entrepreneurship is also equally important. Entrepreneurships are nothing. Yes, now Soham has given answer through this chat box. No, sir, correct. So we cannot use these resources until and unless you are back up with entrepreneurial skill. And for that entrepreneurship, there should be people who are having that mindset to create ideas, and that ideas should be implemented with the help of capital, labor, and land. So this entrepreneurship is also equally important. In India, we all are witness. There are some families, Tata, then Birla, Ambani. They have been doing these businesses successfully. Taking example of Tata Group, need not to explain you that what kind of production they are making. You just name the product, they have that product, and that is why we say that right from salt to steel, salt to steel, so everything is being. These all kind of business are being handled by this Tata Group, and that too successfully, without any controversy. From last 70 years, they have been successfully doing this business. So, and that entrepreneurship is also equally important for this factor of production. So I was trying to explain you that, uh, giving example that in Scotland, where sufficient grape, this produce is available, and the investment in the factor of production would cost 30 times more than the cost of purchasing an equal quantity from a foreign country. So this was a situation which happened in Scotland. What Adam Smith is saying, that if they want to purchase this wine, sorry, if they want to have a manufacturing of this wine in Scotland itself, they will have to pay 30 times more. Now, if Scotland, if they are spending 30 times more, and the same wine which is available, suppose if it is available, say at the rate of rupees, say 100 rupees, and if you are producing in Scotland, 30 times you will have to spend for the same quantity. And this was the problem was faced by Scotland. So the Adam Smith, he presented this theory, and he mentioned that the minimization of aggregate real cost and efficient resources allocation through trade without strong consideration for comparative cost from the basis of Adam Smith model of absolute advantage in international trade. So this particular wine production he developed through absolute advantage theory. Again, I repeat, what is absolute advantage theory? Absolute advantage theory is, it is the ability of individual or a company to produce greater quantity of goods or services. That is the meaning of absolute advantage. Because this point is mentioned in our syllabus. Now, in the book of Wealth of Nation, written by Adam Smith, he clearly mentioned that there are gains from trade. Country will be prosper if country goes with this production. So Adam Smith, he focuses on this point. Now, in regards to the second point, that is Ricardo and comparative advantage. Ricardo and comparative advantage. Ricardian model, it is known as Ricardian model. The name of author is Ricardo. Ricardo, who developed this theory, is known as Ricardian model. Ricardian model, which is based on comparative advantage, and Adam Smith model based on absolute advantage. I repeat again, Adam Smith model, which is based on absolute advantage, and Ricardian model based on comparative advantage. And I explain you, absolute advantage is what? It is the ability of individual or company to produce greater quantity. That is the meaning of absolute advantage. And comparative advantage meaning is, it refers ability to produce goods or services at lower opportunity cost compared to competition. So they are focusing on lower opportunity cost. That is known as comparative advantage. So the Ricardian theory. Just a second, please. So this Ricardian theory of comparative advantage became a basic constituent of neoclassical trade theory. This neoclassical trade theory considers two commodity, two country model, two commodity and two country model. Say, for example, say any European country. Let us consider two commodity. One is say wine, and the other one is cloth, wine and cloth. And for wine and cloth, what is the lower opportunity cost for that particular production of wine? And same way, what is the lower opportunity cost for production of cloth? So for the modern development, Ricardian trade theory, which extends and focuses on comparative advantage, which arises due to differences in technology or natural resources. As we know, there are some countries where there is advanced technology, and with this advanced technology, they achieve maximum production. Country like say Japan, as everyone knows, that Japan, Germany, they are good in terms of technology. Technology is not an issue for Japan and Germany people. So that one thing, differences in technology or natural resources. Not only technology, but Ricardo also has focus on natural resources. Now let me give the example of natural resources where the country is rich with that. Can you give me any example where there is ample natural resources, and with that ample natural resources, that country has become prosper? All Gulf country, what resource they have? What kind of resources they have? Natural resource. I am talking about natural resource, because Ricardian model, which is focusing on technology and natural resources. So Gulf countries, what is the natural resource they have? Oil. Yes. So oil is the natural resource. Yes, Swami, you are correct. So oil is the natural resource where Gulf country is rich with this resource. Uh, Talking about Brazil, Brazil is rich with coffee. So Brazil coffee, which is world famous, and there is huge demand across the globe. So these natural resources can be tapped, and with this, country can be prosper. This is the point which is focused by Ricardian model. And talking about technology, as I gave the example, Japan and Germany, even in Pune, our metro project, which is being, or even in Mumbai, uh, there are some infrastructure projects are going on. So these projects are being, we are completing, or we have been completed with the help of German and Japan technology. And because of this technology, they are prosper. Their countries prosper. Like say Saudi or Gulf countries, they are prosper. The same way, So Ricardo, though he has also presented this theory in 1817, in the year 1817. So today also that theory is proving, like say this technology and natural resources. Now so far we have discussed about Brazil or Gulf countries. Now what about India? Where we are rich? Are we rich in technology or we are rich in natural resources? What do you think? Where do we stand? Where our India stands? Yes, Shresh Manthalkar, can you add something?
Yes, sir.
Where India stands in terms of this natural resources and technology?
Human capital and physical capital to the natural resource for India.
Yes, so human capital. So we have that sizable population and skilled population also. We have trained them, and that is why even natural resources also. Shreya, we have say in India there are uh, some pocket we have in our country itself, like say talking in Maharashtra, Alfonso mango, where there is a great demand across the globe. Am I correct? Alfonso mango, or there is no
Yes,
demand?
and spices also.
And spices also, spices and spices. State like uh, Kerala is very rich in the production of spices and as well as production of tea also. Talking about technology, we are trying to showcase our talent in terms of technology. But now maybe recent in last week only, when there was a successful launch of Chandrayaan. So now the other countries are looking at India. Now they have changed their view. Earlier, their views were very different in regards to India. But now, recently, as I give the example of Chandrayaan launching, so the countries they have changed their views, and now maybe next 10 year you will be witnessing for that, and you will realize that how we are moving ahead in terms of technology also. So Ricardian has rightly focused on these 2 points which arise due to differences in technology or natural resources. So this way you have to explain if you are asked Ricardian model. Ricardian model does not directly consider factor endowments such as relative amount of labor capital within a country. Now, in case of interpretation, Ricardian model is often presented as being based on the following assumption. Labor, now these are the assumptions I'm putting before you. Ricardian assumptions are labor is the only primary input to production in terms of factor of production. Labor is the only primary input to the production. Second one is the relative ratio of labor at which the production of one good can be traded off for another that differ between countries. So this is incomplete because Ricardian model can be extended to the situation where many goods can be input for a production. Many inputs, many goods can be input for a production. With reference to Ricardian trade theory, extensions are relative ratio of labor input coefficient has a valid meaning only for simple cases such as two country, many commodity, many country, two commodity. So vice versa. Maybe two country, many commodity, or many country with two commodity. Now, in case of say country like India, we have many commodities like Alfonso mango, spices, and maybe in terms of uh, apple. Apple means not Kashmiri apple. So that kind of commodity, there is a great demand from outside India. So these are intermediate goods which we have. As for the meaning of four magic numbers, a new interpretation became popular in 21st century. So these were the new interpretation on the basis of Ricardian. As I told you, new interpretation. Number one, labor is the only primary input to production. And number two, relative ratio of labor at which the production of one good can be traded off. Another differ between countries. After knowing some information from Adam Smith and Ricardo, Adam Smith, as I told you, Adam Smith theory, which is based on absolute advantage, and Ricardo's theory based on what? Will anybody answer? Ricardo theory based on what? Which advantage?
Comparative advantage.
Comparative advantage. Yes. So this is the difference between these two theories. Now, there is one more person known as Hackler. Hackler and Ohlin model in the early 19. So this particular Adam Smith and Ricardo, they developed in the 18th century, but Heckler and Ohlin model, which was developed in 19th century. The theory of international trade was developed by these two Swedish economists. These are they both are from Swedish. That's from Sweden. So they are Swedish economists. Heckler and Ohlin. This theory has subsequently become known as Heckler-Ohlin model, and popularly it is known as HO model. H stand for Heckler and O stand for Ohlin. In short, it is known as HO model. HO model. H stand for what? H for Heckscher and O for
Holland.
Ohlin. So Heckscher and Ohlin, these are the name of person who are from Sweden, Swedish. The results of HO model are that the pattern of international trade, which is determined by differences in factor of endowments, which predict that countries will export those goods that make intensive use of locally abundant factor, locally where the factors are available in an ample manner, and will import goods that make intensive use of factor that are locally scarce. Now, let us understand the core assumption of HO model. So basically, there are four assumptions which are mentioned by HO, Heckscher and Ohlin. Assumption number one, labor and capital flow freely between sectors, equalizing factor prices across sectors within a country. So labor and capital flow, which is freely between sector, equalizing factor prices across sectors within a country. Now talking about say India. Now spices which are available in Kerala state, and Alfonso mango which is available in say Maharashtra. So these are the two different states, but this state belong to one country. So country like India can export both the goods to outside state and they can have foreign currency. So that way we can have free transaction between our nation. Second assumption, the amount of labor and capital in two countries differ. Now, in case of say a state like Maharashtra, as I told you, Maharashtra is known for Maharashtra is known for Alfonso mango, and we have considered Kerala is known for spices. So this is the natural resource both states are having, and these both states are belongs to India. So don't you think that our Indian government they are getting foreign currency out of this transaction? Are they getting or not? India, because these both
Yes.
the states belongs to India. So he is trying to convince this assumption this way. Third assumption, technology is the same among countries. Now we'll continue this example, Kerala and Maharashtra. So whatever technology we have in India, so it is same among country, means in both the state it is same, and that is long term way. Now for example, construction of road, then availability of port. Now in case of Kerala, we know Kerala is also having seashore, and even Maharashtra is also having seashore. Talking to Maharashtra, we have about 700 kilometers seashore for Maharashtra, 700 kilometers, and Kerala might be having more than 700 kilometers. I am not having that ready information right now. You can search out that how much seashore Kerala has. But Kerala, it is, I think, entire Kerala, which is surrounded by sea. Very few places like say Munnar and these area which is away from sea. But almost most of the part of Kerala which is surrounded by sea. If you look at the geographical location of Kerala, you will see that 90% Kerala which is surrounded by seashore, समुद्र किनारा आहे त्याच्या आजूबाजूला. In case of Maharashtra, it start from Mumbai Still, as you move to the Ratnagiri, Sabantwadi, until the border of Goa, we have this seashore available. So it is almost 700 kilometer. And with this 700 kilometer, our government has developed port. Like in talking in Maharashtra, we have JNPT port. You all are aware, yes, JNPT. We have visited over there. So this is the technology and infrastructure we have developed in our country. And the fourth assumption, tastes are the same upon countries. So these four assumptions which are presented by Heckscher and Olin model. Before we wind up today's session, let me recap the thing what we have discussed today. We started with international trade theory of Adam Smith. Adam Smith model, which is based on absolute advantage. And Adam Smith, who has written book Wealth of Nation, where he mentioned that there is a gain from trade, and we are convinced with that really there is a gain from trade. What is the gain? Foreign currency. The country who gets more foreign currency will have more prosperity. And he also gave the example of grape in Scotland. That also we have discussed. Then we discuss Ricardian model. Ricardian model, which is based on comparative advantage. And Ricardo has given example of two commodity, two country model, two commodity and two country model. And his assumptions are basically two assumptions. Assumption number one, labor is the only primary input to production. And second one is relative ratio of labor at which the production of one good can be traded off. So that was from Ricardian. Third theory, HO model, Heckscher and Olin, which is based on four assumptions. And the assumptions number one, labor and capital flow freely between sectors within a country. Second one, the amount of labor and capital in two countries differ. And the third one is technology is the same. Infrastructure is the same among countries. And we consider the example of Kerala and Maharashtra, which are rich with the seashore. And with this seashore, our government has built up the infrastructure like port, like JNPT in Maharashtra we have in Panvel, and in Kerala also there is another port where we can export our goods outside India. And the fourth assumption, tastes are the same upon countries. So this was about little bit with this international trade. If this problem solved, we'll show you the PPTs, and if not, the same PPTs will be uploaded to our institute website. You can refer that information. So before we end up today's session, if you have any doubt, you may ask. Otherwise, we will end the session. Anything you want to ask? There is a message in chat box. Yes, anything you want to ask? For today's session. Okay. If no question, then we will end for the today's session. Thank you all.